Welcome friend. So today we'll be discussing the last topic of fourth unit, that is Clapeyron's three moment theorem. This is also sometimes called just like a three moment theorem or Clapeyron's theorem, but full name is Clapeyron's three moment theorem. So this theorem is for continuous beam. So first we'll discuss what is continuous beam and then we'll discuss this theorem. So continuous beam are those beam who are supported on more than two supports. So any beam which is supported on more than two supports are called continuous beam. For example, like say this beam is supported at three places, so this beam is continuous beam. It can be supported more than like a three, but any beam which is supported more than two location, then we call it continuous support. Because of this continuity, it develops moment at this supports, and this is called bending moment at the support due to continuity. So if you try to draw free body diagram of this span, then like you'll have this support reactions, but in addition to this vertical support reaction, you'll also have this moment due to continuity. So like if you draw this second span, then again vertical reaction, and whatever the moment we have, opposite moment will act at other side, right? So this is because of continuity. So these internal moments are developed at the support, and the main unknowns in this beam is this support. So if you know this support moments, then easily you can calculate these vertical reactions. So it is then like a simple supported span but with in moments. But because of this continuity, these moments will generate. Now even if you take very simple problem, beam supported on three supports, so like you'll get three vertical reaction, and the conditions of equilibrium available with us is only only two: summation Fy equal to 0 and summation moment equal to 0. So we are not considering any horizontal force, so we'll have this two condition, but unknowns are three, so we cannot solve this problem. So then how we can solve this problem? So like say if we draw the free body diagram of this span and this span separately, right, then like there will be moment of continuity. Some moment will get transfer from this end to this end. Why moment get transfer? Because it transfer the rotation. If this span is trying to rotate like this, then this rotation will get transferred to the other side of the beam. If we introduce a hinge, so like if we introduce a hinge in between, then this span will rotate separately and this span will rotate separately. So there will be a discontinuity. You will get two slope at one point. So then this two span will behave like a two separate simply supported span. But if it is continuous, then this moment or rotation will get transferred from one end to another end, and the slope will also be like a one value at that point. So this is like a continuous structure, continuous beam. So because of this continuity, the moment, whatever the moment is developing here, that will get transferred to other side. So these moments are shown here. So if we can calculate this moment, then easily we can calculate this support reaction. So if we know this, then easily we can calculate this two and then this two. So this is the basic idea about a continuous beam. Now using this Clapeyron's three moment theorem, we will be able to calculate this moment. So again, these are not two moment, but since we are drawing free body diagram, so whatever the bending moment diagram, that this span will like exert on this span, that we are showing, and this moment is the moment that will be exerted by this span on this side. But don't get confused with this. Just to remember that there will be a moment that will get transferred from this span to this span and this span to this span, and that we are showing here. So like main like target will be to calculate this moment. So as I told, once we know this moment, easily we can calculate this reaction, and once you know the reaction, then beam becomes determinate, or easily we can calculate the shear force bending moment diagram, since beams are generally internally determinate. So say there is a beam which has support, say A0, A1, A, B, C and C0. Now like say this is continuous beam, then what this Clapeyron's three moment theorem tells, if AB and BC are any two consecutive span. Consecutive span means they should be adjacent to each other. You cannot use this Clapeyron's three moment theorem for this span and this span together. It should be two consecutive span only. So like if you are considering A0A, then you must consider AB span. So that case you cannot consider other span, right? Or on this side. So that way the two span should be consecutive. So if AB and BC are any two consecutive span of a continuous beam subjected to an external loading, then the support moment MA, MB and MC at the support A, B, C are given by the relation. Now here we talked about three, MA, MB and MC, three moment. So since this A support is also a continuous support, B is also continuous, C is also continuous support. That's how you will get this moment due to continuity at all three supports. And then like these three moments, whatever that are developing at A, B and C, those moments are like they are related with this equation. So like we'll discuss this equation now. First is MA in bracket L1 by I1 plus 2MB in bracket L1 by I1 plus L2 by I2 plus MC L2 by I2 is equal to minus, this is minus sign, minus 6A1 x1 by I1 L1 plus 6A2 x2 bar by I2 L2. So here terms has some meaning. Few terms you must have understood, that L represent a span, that is first span. L2 represent the span of second like portion of a beam. I1 and I2 are the bending moment of inertia of the section of AB beam, and I2 is the moment of inertia of section BC or BC beam. So that is what is I1, I2. But majority of the time this I are constant. Generally we try to keep same section so that like it will be easy for construction purpose, right? But however, if there is a drastic change in the bending moment, then we may reduce the depth of the beam, and if you reduce depth of the beam, then I of the beam will change. In that case you should consider this I. So this is what is like left hand side of this equation is, and then right hand side A1. So what A1 means, like it is a free bending moment diagram. So what free bending moment diagram means, say like if you have a beam which is supported, like say at 3 support, it has some load, right? Then what you have to do, you have to treat this, say A, B and C. So you have to treat this AB portion like separately and BC portion separately, or otherwise like you introduce a hinge here. So this beam won't be a continuous beam, and in that case, like if you see, the first rotation of the deformation of the beam will be like this, and the deformation of second span will be like this. So like when you like introduce a hinge, or when you consider like this as a simply supported span, this also as a simply supported span, in that case like you plot the bending moment diagram of this load. So definitely that will be a triangle, which we already know, and the bending moment for this UDL will be it will be a parabola. But then if you see here, we are not considering any moment due to this continuity, since we have already introduced a hinge. So other way, this is also called like a release structure. So you are releasing this two beam, and for those two released beam we are plotting bending moment diagram. So this bending moment diagram are called like a free bending moment diagram, or bending moment diagram of release beam, or like if you remember in last discussion we also use a term like a mu diagram, right? So these are like a mu diagram, like we release the beam and for given load we plot the bending moment diagram, and those bending moment diagrams are called like a released moment. Now what is this A1 then? It is the area of the bending moment diagram of this first span of release beam. or like a free bending moment diagram, and A2 is the area of this second bending moment diagram. So this is what A1 and A2 means. Now very important point is x1 and x2. So what is x1? It is the centroidal distance of the first release bending moment diagram from A support. So you must measure it from left support. So for first span or left span, you should measure this centroidal distance only from support A. You should not measure it from B. Similarly, x2 is the centroidal distance of this second bending moment diagram from C support. So this is x2. You should not measure it from B support. So you must measure this from C support or right support. So for right hand bending moment diagram, or say release bending moment diagram, you have to measure this x2 bar from C support or like right support, and for the left hand release bending moment diagram, you should measure this x from left support. So this is like you have to remember, though it is simple concept, but you should not measure this distance. If you measure this distance, then you will get error in your values. So you must measure it from A with respect to A, this x1, and x2 is with respect to C. Next, then I and L we already discussed. So these are the only important point here. This x1 we are measuring from like A support, and x2 bar we are measuring from right support, and A1 and A2 are the bending moment area of bending moment diagram of released beam or release bending moment diagram we call it. So here it is mentioned A1 area of the free bending moment diagram for the span AB, then A2 area of the free bending moment diagram for the span BC, then x1 is the centroidal distance of free bending moment diagram on AB from A, and x2 centroidal distance of the free bending moment diagram on span BC from C. So this is important. Then L1 the span length AB, L2 span length BC, I1 moment of inertia of the span AB, I2 is the moment of inertia of the span BC. Now majority of the problem, if you see in textbook, then in that case these i's are always, most of the time they are like constant. So if they are constant, then this equation is like further simplify, and in that case this I will get cancelled from both right and left side. So this equation, like simply you can write down A1 L1 plus 2 MB into L1 plus L2 plus MC into L2 is equal to minus 6 A1 x1 bar by L1 minus 6 A2 x2 bar by L2, right? So I have just put this minus side in this minus sign inside the bracket, but then this equation is like simplified like this. So many books they directly write down this equation instead of this equation, but this is the full equation, right? So you try to remember this. If I is different, then this is how you can take care of it. Otherwise, even like if you remember this and if I is not given, then you can assume that I is constant in both the span. I is constant in both the span, and then you can cancel that and you can use directly this equation. So this is like Clapeyron's three moment theorem. So say like if you have more than two span, in that case what you have to do, like you use this equation for this two span, then for this two span, and this then for this two span. So like 1 2 3 4 span we have, right? And how many supports we have? 1 2 3 4 5. So like your beam is ending here, we are assuming that. Then in that case, like you will be having 1 2 3 4 5 unknown. So 5 unknowns, you will get like a 1 2 3 4 times you can use this equation. And in addition to that, like if these are ain't simple support, then we'll get one more additional condition, that here bending moment is 0, even here bending moment will be 0. So as such you will be having only 3 unknowns, right? So same equation you can write down for this 2 span, then for this 2 span, and for this 2 span. So you will get 3 equation, one for this 2, second and third. So using this 3 times Clapeyron's theorem, you can solve these 3 unknown moments at this 3 location. We are assuming that these 2 are simple support or the ain't simple support, right? So bending moment at this 2 location will be 0. So that is what we are assuming. Then only unknown will be the moment at this 3 location. So anyway, we'll see this kind of numerical little later, but today we'll discuss one simple numerical, and then maybe we'll discuss some more complex problem in coming lectures. So a beam ABC covers 2 consecutive span AB and BC of length 4 meter and 6 meter respectively. The span AB carries a UDL of 60 kilonewton per meter over a full length AB, and the span BC carries a point load of 120 kilonewton at 3 meter from C. If the support at A, B and C are simple support, calculate the support reaction and also plot shear force and bending moment diagram, assume EI is constant. So though this A, B, C, though this B is simple support, but since like it is internal simple support, it will generate or it will behave like a continuous support, and these 2 are ain't simple support. So those 2 will behave like a normal like a simple support. So bending moment at this location will be 0 at A and C points, since beam will deform like this, right? So here like it will allow the rotation, here it will allow the rotation, but because of continuity there will be internal moment. Now we'll solve this problem using this Clapeyron's 3 moment. So if you understand, like here we'll have only one unknown, that is MB, since the moment at A and moment at C will be 0 as they are simple support or ain't simple support, right? So first step, what we have to do, we have to plot this mu diagram. As I told, we can call them mu diagram. We also call them bending moment for the release beam or free bending moment diagram. So all 3 words you can use. So in that case, what we are assuming, we are introducing hinge here so that this 2 span behave like a separate span, right? So or this 2 will behave like a 2 simply supported beams. So this first, and then we'll plot this bending moment diagram. So like maximum bending, definitely it is UDL. So for UDL, the maximum bending moment diagram we can calculate, and it will be WL square by 8. So W is 60, W is the intensity of UDL, into L 4 meter span, WL square by 8. So if you substitute, if you calculate, it is 120 kilonewton meter. So this height is 120 kilonewton meter. Now for this span, the bending moment diagram will be a triangle with the maximum ordinate equal to WL by 4. So this W is like here, it is a magnitude of this point load, which is 120 multiplied by span is like 6. So L is 6 divided by 4. So you will get 180 kilonewton meter. So this maximum is 180 kilonewton meter. So again, this is like a like you have to treat these 2 separately, this 2 as a simply supported beam, and for that you have to plot this bending moment diagram for given load. Then now x1 again we have to measure it from like left end for first portion. So since this bending moment diagram is like symmetric, so like this distance will be like a half, so no need to calculate CG. But if there are some complex problem, then I'll discuss that, how to deal with those problem. But for this like you'll get simple geometry. So the CG of this parabola will be at the midpoint. So this is 4 meter, so it will be 2 meter. So x1 will be 2 meter. Similarly here x3 we have to measure it from right support. Again this diagram is like symmetric, so the CG no need to calculate, it will be at a distance 3 meter from C or midpoint. Then L1, that is span 4 meter, L2 span is 6 meter. Then area of this parabola, so area of parabola is 2/3 base into height. So 2/3 base is like 4 meter, height is 120. So 2/3 4 into 120, you will get answer as a 320 kilonewton. Similarly, for the second like portion, area of this bending moment diagram is equal to, since it is triangle, 1/2 base into height. So 1/2 base is 6 meter, height is 180, and if you calculate, it will be 540 kilonewton. So that's how we can calculate the values. Once you calculate the value, we can substitute that value in the Clapeyron's free moment equation. So this is the equation. Since again I are same, so like you can simplify, you can rewrite, or even if you use directly this equation, there is no issue. Now we'll use the condition that bending moment at point A and bending moment at point C should be 0, because this is like, we know that in these are end simple support, and at end simple support we always get a bending moment 0, since this ends won't resist any rotation. That's how the bending moment at this two location will be 0. So like we'll substitute that like MA and MC is 0. So if we substitute, then MA is 0, L1 is 4, 2 MB is unknown, we need to calculate. Then L1 is 4, L2 is 6, then multiplied by MC is 0 and L2 is 6, minus, then on this side 6, area we already calculated, area here we calculated. So like 320 x2 x1, it is 2 meter, which is like from for left hand span from left hand support, so it is 2 meter, and plus 6 into A2 is area of second bending moment diagram. So second bending moment diagram, area of this triangle, which is like 540 multiplied by 3 by 6. So if you calculate, then easily you can calculate the bending moment at point C, which is like minus 129 kilonewton meter. Negative sign indicate that it must be a hogging moment. Now we can plot this mu dash diagram, right? So like in previous fixed end beam also we discussed, to get the final bending moment, what we did, we overlapped this diagram on this diagram, right? So that's how we can get the final bending moment diagram. So we'll do that, but before doing that, we should calculate the final vertical reaction, because we also need to plot shear force diagram. So I have just like redrawn that beam. So here this vertical, though I have calculated and then I have substituted this value, but initially you can assume they are unknown. So I have just redrawn the beam, and then I'm writing this as a vertical reaction VA, VB and VC. Now unknowns are VA, VB and VC. So for that, what we can do, we have to plot like a free body diagram. Please understand, now we are plotting free body diagram, not the released beam. So free body diagram, you have to show what are the moment or force that will be exerted by this span on this span while drawing the free body diagram of this span AB. So like definitely this moment is MB. We already calculated that moment, which is a negative, so it will be like a hogging moment. So a hogging moment for AB at B support will be moment in clockwise direction, and then remaining things will be as it is. And then you can draw free body diagram of another span BC. So again, the moment that will get transferred from this span to this span will be of same magnitude, 129, but it will be in opposite direction. So this was in clockwise, here it will be in anti-clockwise, and then we are considering this load. Now will be since this VB is a final vertical reaction, so it will be addition of these two vertical reactions, right? And then VA and VC, definitely there is no span, so whatever the value will calculate for this beam, that will be the value of VA. So now these two beams are simply support like a simple problem which we have already solved, or this is just like an example of simply supported beam which has some moment at B end. right? So now we'll calculate that. So for span AB, so this is reaction calculation. For span AB, we will be taking moment about A point and will equate to 0. So we are taking moment about A point. So moment due to this UDL, so it will be intensity into distance multiplied by centroidal distance by 2. Centroidal distance. So centroidal distance will be like half of the span. So that's how we get 60 L raised to 2 by 2. Then plus this moment due to vertical reaction VB1. So VB1 into 4 minus this moment also we need to consider now. So since like here we are assuming say clockwise negative and anti-clockwise positive. So in reaction calculation you are free to select this sign convention. So even if you consider this positive, this negative, you will get the same answer. Now if you substitute this value, then easily we can calculate VB1. So VB1 is 152.25 kilonewton upward. So you again use second condition, that is summation of vertical force is equal to 0, and you can calculate VA, which is 87.75 kilonewton upward. Now similarly for span BC, we'll be calculating this to reaction. So we'll take moment about say B point and then we'll equate to 0. So here we'll start with this moment. So this moment here we are assuming this positive anti-clockwise and clockwise negative. So this moment anti-clockwise, so anti-clockwise 129, then moment due to this downward force 120 multiplied by 3, and then plus VC multiplied by this 6 meters distance, and this should be 0. So from that easily you can calculate VC. VC is 38.5, and then you substitute again you can use next condition, that summation of vertical force is 0, and from that you can calculate VB2, which will be 81.5. So this now final VB will be addition of this VB1 and VB2. So that's how here both are upward, so it is like a straightforward addition. But by chance if you get negative value, then you should take a subtraction, or you take a value with a negative sign, right? So here it will be addition of this two VBs, and then a final vertical reaction at B point is 233.75 kilonewton upward. So these are those value. After doing this calculation, I am substituting, or I have written it here. Now once you know this vertical reaction, then easily you can plot shear force diagram. So it is not difficult. It is like a typical shear force diagram or calculation that we generally do. So here shear force calculation will start from say at A point or left hand. So on left hand side of point A there is no load, so shear force at A on left hand side is 0. Then shear force on the right hand side, so now if you cross this point you will get this vertical reaction, which is and these are the sign convention. So this upward force is positive when we do left to right. So left to right, this upward force at A point is positive. So that's how this is 87.5, and then shear force at any x distance. So we need to calculate point of contrast here. That's how I have written general equation. So it will be 87.75, that is VA, minus 60 into x on this downward UDL. So at any distance x, the shear force will be this minus this one. So that's how it is this. Now at point D, midpoint I have calculated. So at midpoint you can substitute x equal to 2, and it is minus 32.25. So your point of contrast shear must be between A and D. Since at A we are getting positive shear force, at D we are getting negative shear force, so it must change the sign from in between A and D. So we should calculate that location, and that point is called point of contrast shear. Now shear force at B point, so again we have to calculate on say left hand side of B point. So this will be equal to, actually I have written direct value, but how we can calculate, either you can substitute in this equation x equal to like a 4 and you'll get this value. So it is 87.5, which is like VA minus 60 multiplied by 4. So if you solve this, you'll get minus 152.25 kilonewton. So shear force on left hand side of this B point, on this side it will be 152.25 kilonewton negative. Now shear force at B point, how we can calculate this? What are the shear force on left hand side we have? We should add this vertical shear force, but we are doing left to right, so vertical we consider positive. So whatever the value we have, 152.25, it is like 152.25 plus this vertical force at B point, that is 233.75. so if you do this subtraction, you will get 81.5 kilonewton as answer. Then shear force on the left hand side of this E point, so like we are here, so if you are on this side, there is no any other force, so what are the shear force we get at B point, it will be same, or like on the right hand side of B point it will continue, and it is 81.5. then on right hand side we have to now add this shear force, but we are doing from left to right, so downward force we consider negative. So that's how 81.5 minus 125, and answer will be 38.5. Now at point C, it will be minus 38.5. that is like we can calculate it simply from left to right, sorry, right to left. So when you do that, upward we consider negative, downward we consider positive. So that's how this is upward force, it will be negative, so 38.5. and then if you are on like right hand side of point C, there is no any load on the right hand side, so the shear force at C will be 0, right? So that's all. Now that's what, like shear force calculations are like simple. What you know, the same procedure we are doing for this continuous beam also. So now we'll be connecting these all point, and easily we can get this shear force diagram, right? Also now we have to calculate this location of the point of contrast shear. Why it is important? Because at the location of point of contrast shear, bending moment will be maximum. So that's how we need to calculate this point of contrast shear. So simply, like in this equation of shear force at x distance, we will equate it to 0 and we'll get the answer. So like location of point of contrast shear in span AB can be calculated by considering shear force equal to 0. So if you do that, x will be 1.4625 meter. Now bending moment calculation. No doubt, like a bending moment diagram we can directly get from like our previous calculation. So we already had this bending moment diagram at the beginning, and we also got this mu dash diagram when we got this MB, right? So if we overlap this two, easily we can get, but what ordinate we have here is 125. When we overlap this portion, so this positive and negative will cancel each other, and we'll get the resultant bending moment. So this will be the resultant bending moment. Now this critical bending moment we need to calculate. That's how this bending moment calculation are also important here. So we'll start again. Okay, so we'll start from say A point. So since this is simply supported in, so bending moment will be 0, or there is no any moment or force on the left hand side of point A, so shear bending moment is 0. Then bending moment at D point, I just calculated at midpoint also. So the negative bending moment, or the bending moment of this portion, will be half of this height. Since like you can use this similarity of the triangle, and easily you can calculate that bending moment will be half, because this two triangle, this triangle and this triangle, right? So this is A, this is B, and at B this triangle, I mean I'm just showing this portion, right? AB portion. So in AB portion this height is 129, so at mid distance, right? So when x equal to 2, it will be 129 by 2, okay? since these two triangles are similar. Or you can simply do this interpolation, you write down equation in terms of x and you substitute x equal to 2, you will get the same answer, right? So this is one. So then like we get final bending moment. So positive, negative plus positive, that will be the resultant bending moment. So this bending moment at D point, this D point, the maximum ordinate was 120, and then for this negative it is half of 129, so the resultant value will be positive 55.5 kilonewton, right? So that's how we can calculate this bending moment. So this height is 55.5 kilonewton, this height, right? Similarly, we can calculate bending moment at this location where we are expecting maximum value, right? So then we should calculate this negative bending moment at this location, at location of x equal to 1.4625 meter. So like if you calculate from this interpolation, then it is 47. So this 47 is like a negative value, it is negative bending moment diagram, right? This triangle is negative bending moment diagram, and the positive value we don't know, but otherwise directly we can calculate also. Like we'll write down the equation. The equation will be VA, moment due to this VA at x distance, and then moment due to this UDL at x distance, and x will substitute 1.4625. so bending moment at x distance will be 47.75 multiplied by 1.4625 minus 60 into this 1.4625 square by 2. This is like bending moment due to UDL, and this is bending moment due to this VA force. So it comes out like 64.17 kilonewton. So maximum bending moment in span AB will be 46.155, and it will be at a distance 1.4625 meter, right? Then bending moment at C point, we already know that is MB, which is like a negative value, since here the bending moment of this positive are 0. So only the resultant value will be this bending moment, which is negative 129 kilonewton meter. Then similarly at point D also it will be half of this height, since it is at midpoint. Or again you can use interpolation and then calculate what is negative value, subtract that total positive, and then you will get this resultant value. So this actual height was, like if you see, this height was 180 kilonewton meter. So we have to subtract this much from that 180. So 180 minus 129 by 2, so value is 155.5 kilonewton meter. Then at point C, definitely it is simple support, so bending moment will be 0. So this is how you can plot the final bending moment diagram. So that's end of this problem. Like we'll discuss some more problem, little bit more complex problem, like problem with the say like a moment or settlement, and if supports are fixed support, then how we can use this Clapeyron's three moment theorem. So that we'll discuss in the next class, and I think in next class we'll finish the 4th unit and we'll discuss some topic which we have left in 3rd unit. Thank you.